Welcome back. My guest is the CEO of the ALTRON Group, Mteto Nyati. He's published a book. It's called Betting on a Darkie, Lifting the Corporate Game. As much as we're talking about his life story in the book, we also are basically talking about the story of South Africa at these times. Generally difficult times, but there are people who are doing the best they can to fix what is going wrong in the country. I'll go back to that forward. By former President Thabo Mbeki. What do you make of his concerns? He raised them in 2000 already when he spoke about individuals who were joining the ANC as careerists, opportunists, and was warning that in due time their value system of raiding, of entitlement, of greed, and all sorts of things will lead us to a very corrupt society, which people think has already collapsed, but not necessarily. It can still be fixed, I want to believe. Your views?
Look, he warned us then, and I think he used the opportunity here in the forward to once again emphasize the value of values, the value of us as a society, going back to our founding principles, the principles of serving others, the principles of we need to become servants of the people that we work for as leaders. And when you go around and look within his own organization, the ANC is clearly something that he cannot see. Many of the leaders that are in there now, as we have seen over the last 8 years or so, these are people that are serving their own interests. This is the reality. We cannot run away from that. But I think our responsibility as a nation is to try and arrest and make sure that this thing that has been spreading like cancer, we arrest it and we stop it and we reverse it. Otherwise, we are not going to have
And you think it's possible? Can be done?
It can be done.
I mean, do you see individuals in our society who are capable of doing that, or who are already doing part of the work to reverse the spread of the cancer?
We have a number of great individuals in this country. If you look at the judiciary, they have done their work. They have done their responsibility. We are here today having the Zondo Commission because of the former public protector. We have got individuals like that. We've got many people in corporate. I belong to a group of people called Public-Private Growth Initiative. These are CEOs of large companies in this country who have partnered with government and saying, let's find a way to grow this economy. We cannot give up on this economy. Yes, there are challenges. We accept that. It's the cost of doing business in South Africa. But with those challenges, what is it that is practical that we can do to get this economy going? But at the same time, what is it that you, government, can do to remove some of the challenges that we are facing? We are having those discussions. So we cannot give up on South Africa. No, there are many people that believe in this country, and I call them the silent majority. They still belong, they still believe in this inclusive society that we are trying to build.
If there's one particular thing that's concerning or troubling you away from your work, I mean, when you look at our society, what is it?
I think if there's one thing that is troubling me, is the talking. It's the talking and talking and talking and not translating these ideas into practical things. How many times, I mean, we've heard so many times that we are going to be fixing this, we're going to be fixing that. But at a practical level, what have people done? We are not implementing. It is so frustrating. It is really frustrating. Some of these things are so simple. We look at our education system. If you can distill it down into, I come from a rural school that was able to produce me.
Yeah, let me interrupt you there, just for a moment, because in the book there's a disappointment.
Yes.
As difficult as it was in the past, when you lived in that place, in that rural village.
Yes.
When you visited not so long ago,
Yes.
you found that the infrastructure that had been left behind, your old home, the old store, and certain things that you donated now as a businessman and business leader were left unused and vandalized. You know, just what do you think is going on in our society using that as an example? Tell me what happened.
I grew up in an environment in that rural village where people were able to feed themselves. They did not have much, but they had the land. They were working the land. They were producing things. They were able to have surplus that they could sell and generate some cash. When I went back now, nobody is touching the land. The land is standing there. It's not productive. And that, to me, is a symptom of the kind of society that we have created. Why do I say we have created the society? We have gone out, I'm saying we, in particular the ANC government, have gone out and promised people things and say, we will do this and we'll do this and do that for you. It's all about doing this. We are not asking, what is it that you can do for yourself? People are now programmed waiting for things. They want things to come from somewhere. This Father Christmas, who is our government, we do not have unlimited resources as a country. In fact, our resources are diminishing. We need to get people back to helping themselves.
Yeah.
You know, that is where we need to get to.
And we say rural village, I want to call it by name, Tabase. Tabase.
Yes.
So I can respect people of Tabase. They shouldn't think.
So you have, and this criminality as well, and we are always quick to explain, no, it's because we do not have, there are no jobs, there are no this. We can explain why people are criminals. Hey, look at the rest of the continent.
Well, the new moral standard that we've set now is to say innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly.
That is the basic moral standard. You can do whatever you will as long as you're not found guilty.
For me, I look at the rest of the continent. It's probably much more poor than we are. But is there really crime in those countries? Not really. You know. Then how do you explain our crime? If it is no, the people are poor. No, there is lawlessness in our country. That's what there's people feeling entitled around other people's things. We need to get those values back. That's what we need to be focusing on.
Let me shift a little bit and talk about career management.
Yes.
That's one other thread that I picked up in the book. That you were very focused. Doesn't matter what you had to navigate through. You know, your youthful days, the indiscretions of youth, and exuberance and whatever else. But one thing you never lost focus of was where you were going with your life. You started out as an engineer, and today a very important leader in business and in our society. Tell me, how did you do that? And I'm asking this question so that young people who are going through this, who are graduates today, may be unemployed, who may feel like it was pointless to go to institution of higher learning. What should they do if they were to borrow from you and the story that's in the book?
So the one thing that you want, what we need to be doing, and we should continue doing, is there's a demand for skills. Today already, if you go to any of our companies in South Africa, you will hear that people are looking for skills. You know. So you need to align yourself. Try and understand where is the market going, and continuously align yourself with what is required. You know, so that's what the first thing. But we also need to invest in our own lifelong learning. You can get your degree. It does not guarantee you that you will continue to be relevant because things are changing so fast. So that's the second thing. Continue to drive your own, what I would call lifelong learning, to get yourself to become relevant. I'll say the third thing is become self-aware. I know who I am. I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. When I get job offers, left, right, and center, I always have to ask myself, will I be able to add value to where these people want me to go? If I feel I can't, or they are pulling me into a space that is clearly in my area of weakness, I don't take that. But what I see people being appointed in roles that clearly they cannot do. They are not competent for those roles. They continue to add to the narrative that we are unable as black people to deliver, largely because people are not looking at themselves and say, no, I can't go and do that. So self-awareness is something that is important. Also, there are what are called portable skills. You can move from one job to the next, you can change industries, but there are certain things that are common that you are taking into these various industries. Understand what those things are. In my case, it is problem solving. I'm bringing from my engineering background, I'm bringing that in almost all of the jobs that and it's also the other one that I'm bringing along is people management skills. Those are the two things. If I find myself being offered things that do not talk to that, I won't go there.
Yeah, it would be, of course, that being the outcome of the self-awareness you spoke about,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you feel very strongly, too, about proper family structure support, which played a key role in your life. And, you know, it's detailed in the book, so I won't go there.
Yes.
I want to conclude by asking you your views on how South Africa can get out of this situation. I'm taking it from your problem-solving skills. And you even wrote an article about this. Basically, I think, let's call it an open letter to President Cyril Ramaphosa. We're here now. What problems do you think we have? Identify them. I'm giving you a task. And identify the problems as far as you're concerned. And you also mentioned that we're on a burning platform. How do we turn things around in South Africa, from your point of view?
So for me, the starting point is on anything. If you want to energize a group of people, if you want to energize an organization, or you want to energize a nation, you must come with a compelling vision. Right now, I don't see what that vision, what is our vision? Where are we trying to go? What are we trying to be as a nation? That has not been articulated. And this is something that needs to quickly be articulated, because immediately you define that, then you start to know what are the things that you are not going to be focusing on. It gives you the direction, And he can do that, and the ANC government can do that by just looking at what our constitution is saying. Our constitution is all-encompassing. It's saying South Africa belongs to all who lives in it. We continue to hear people saying that some people do not belong here. We have to go back to our founding principle of being in an inclusive society. Immediately you start with that, an inclusive society, you start to have people who were thinking about leaving this country saying, now I'm part of this thing. Maybe I need to find ways how I can make this thing work. But we are actually pushing people away, people who could be contributing towards the building of our country. So that's the starting point, the vision. The next thing is, let us not try and do thousands of things. Focus on a few things. Education is one of them. It's a long-term game, this education thing. Let's not just be thinking about the next results of grade 12. Let's start from the very beginning. The foundation, teaching people the law, how to respect the law, how to respect people of different genders. Let's focus on that. Health and the state-owned enterprises. Put in the people that are capable, that can turn those state-owned enterprises around.
Sure. Well, Mteto Nyati, thank you very much for coming around and being my guest. He's published a book, Betting on a Darkie. A must-read book, I must say. I enjoyed reading it myself, Lifting the Corporate Game, and which you have. There's interesting stories in there that we didn't even touch on. But hey, read the book. That's the way to go. And that's all we have for you. Thank you for joining the Modise Network. Be sure to tune in again next weekend from us. Enjoy the rest of your day.